In this video, we'll see how to perform the firmware upgrade for Hitachi Energy Make Relion 670 platform. First thing first, why do we need to perform the firmware upgrade? This is very important to understand. Depending on the environment where the IEDs are located, we need to think about is it going to bring some benefit or improve the existing functionality. So in this case, currently I have RED 670 IEDs, two numbers. I will perform the firmware upgrade for one of the IED now. So you can see already I have PCM600 version 3.1 from Hitachi Energy has been installed and the project has been opened, and I have ID communicated already from the front port that you can see, and the right side the ID is running with 2.2.6 version, and the product identifiers also seen here inside the diagnostic menu. ID status, product identifiers. Here you can see the product type, product version, and the firmware version, serial number, and the production date, which was built around 2023. So now we have a newer version from the same product update. So you can basically get the update information from different places. One of them is from the Hitachi Energy Publisher portal. Formerly, it was maintained by ABB Library. So now, as we have Hitachi Energy ID type, you can navigate the category from the Hitachi Energy offering. There you can further navigate to grid automation and communication products, and there you go further under protection and control IDs, and then further you need to apply the filters for the required language, and then the classification for the asset type that we are looking for is the release notes. So by doing these filters, you get to know about the different product ranges, and we are really interested on the release notes for 2.2 IDs. And then I open this here directly, and these are the information which are applicable for 2.2.7 version, and you can see the release notes which has been published prepared 31st of March 2025. And there were many different new features, benefits, and improvements part of this 2.2.7. Some of them related to the cybersecurity related improvements, and many of them are related to protection, control, and communication related features, enhancement, and some of them are related to bug fixes as well. Some of them related to, for example, some secure MMS features are quite interesting in the 2.2.7. Somebody tried to focus on the communication security for client-server communication over MMS. And we have 61869-9 support by the 2.7, where you can able to perform the association from source and destination from merging only to the SV subscriber here in RED 670 or ID configuration tool within PCM600, and the IC configuration tool, or outside the tool, or you can able to use a system configuration tool like ID600 or OpenSCD or any other third-party ID configuration, system configuration tool, where you can able to complete the data flow engineering between merging unit and protection ID that required subscription of sample value. And there are many improvements related to measurement and some enhancement related to time synchronization on SNTP, and then centralized account management or LDAP and SNMP, and many more. So there are many features. Of course, it's worth upgrading, especially in my case. I do use this IED for our customer training. So it's very important for keeping the IED with up-to-date features to be able to provide detailed training on the newer features for our customers from the Omicron Academy Bahrain office. And to be able to get this upgrade package, there are different methods that you can able to follow depending on the connection that you have with to Hitachi. So you can basically contact the project and sales team from the regional side, or you can also simply go to the Hitachi Energy website, contact us by filling the form with the right end user information with your company domain email address, and then filling the actual request for requesting the upgrade package, along with the project where the IDs are used, model number, serial number, which are quite sufficient, and further the team member from the sales support team will contact you for quotation request. Next, you can also follow substation automation system and cybersecurity group in LinkedIn if you're active in LinkedIn, or you can also post different features which are part of different manufacturer IDs that are used in substation. So this particular feature that we're gonna upgrade for 670 platform has been posted 1 month ago in this group, and where you can also navigate and get to know about this update. And you can also contribute this to this group by providing updates to empower the community with the latest announcement from different OEMs. I will provide all the different links that I'm using in this video in the description of this video. And the next thing, the prerequisites, as I explained, I have reached out to the Hitachi Energy technical support sales team, and I got the package, and the package is here along with the FST tool and the FST tool instruction, how to make use of it to perform the firmware upgrade update. And next here we are going to talk about the prerequisites to perform the firmware update from PCM600. So having the latest version of Hitachi Energy PCM600, we have a possibility to perform the firmware upgrade from the PCM600 itself. So already you might have know, if you are familiar with ABB or Hitachi Energy protection control IED platforms. So PCM600 is all-in-one tool where you can manage from the design, engineering, testing, troubleshooting in different stages of the life cycle of the protection control IED platforms. So this will add further value to be able to maintain the product for longer life cycle. So when you have the latest version of PCM600 installed, the FST also installed together, because the FST build is combined together with the PCM600 latest version. So to get the latest version of PCM600, you basically register to the Hitachi Energy software library. I will also provide a link in the description, and here you can basically download the package and the service pack that include the fixes for the relevant PCM600 package. So in my case, I have already installed the latest version of PCM600 and the relevant connectivity package that are applicable for 670, 650 and SAM 600 IO PIO. And I also installed the service pack, which is also very important to be able to avoid any issues working with this particular PCM600 version. And the next thing is, as we already seen the product identifiers, it's now time to double check the FST access is enabled to perform this firmware upgrade. So I go inside the configuration, communication, cybersecurity, and FST access. By default, the FST access is off, and you can enable on demand and turn it off when it is not used. So we have already turned on this FST access under the cybersecurity submenu, and then next it's very important to double check the FST access is on a dedicated access point. So we go to the communication Ethernet configuration. So as we are connected to the front port, I go inside the front port, and then I double check the FST access is enabled on the front port or not, and it's already enabled. If you already have strict cybersecurity hardening in your environment where the ID is located, like substations, you might have made sure the unused services and protocols are disabled and the access point which are not used are active, that are not really required in the critical environment like substations. So this is test environment. So I'm running with the default configuration, but in the actual substation project, you can control the unused services to have the strict cybersecurity hardening in place. Next, I already installed the package, and the package deployed the relevant resource files into the repository. So we can proceed by right-clicking the IED and then click the field service tool. And by default, I'm using front port, and one of the reason that I connected the front port. So the front port is designed mainly for maintenance, like firmware upgrade, and engineering access. So it's highly recommended to take the ID, especially to perform this upgrade. You need to make sure this ID is not in energized pay. So it's not recommended to perform the upgrade in an energized pay. So it's in the test environment. I just go ahead with browsing, and this is the default location. C program files, and then you have Hitachi ID service tools and field service tool, then the packages. So as we have IED 670, I chose this folder, and by default the FSD tool have intelligence to pick the zip file which is inside the folder, and I can proceed with the upgrade. And you can already see the update ID is detecting the serial number, and it's also asking or warning the user to be able to make sure the ID is powered on and the system is powered on, everything is okay from our side. So let's proceed with the firmware update by clicking the OK, and make sure that the laptop that is used for, or the system that is used to perform this firmware update is already having enough battery, or you can also connect the charger not to run out of the battery life. So now the package is transferring from the PCM600 through FST tool to the ID, and it actually verified the signature, basically the firmware files and the packages signed by authorized team from Hitachi, so that there is no possibility that we or someone easily tamper the files and push some malicious or unwanted information which are not authorized to be in the package. To complete the firmware upgrade, minimum it takes 15 minutes to 20 minutes for a single IED. And the IED used to reboot several times throughout the package transfer, because the update happens on different hardwares, the CPU, also the HMI, so the local HMI on the front side of the IED, and then further there are different boards for different applications, and there are some features as well. So the num02 is the CPU, where we are updating the firmware for FPGA, and the next update is LHMI, the local HMI that we do have on the front side of the IED. Next, the software preparation is in progress. Now we are pushing the executable file for the CPU and the boot file. Next, the production data, the common package, sorry, the product data, meaning that here we are having RAD 670. So the supported functions inside RAD 670, like digital protection and many other backup protection, and of course all different type of supported applications, like including control, automation, will be part of the product data. Next, we're pushing the num02 FPGA, like actually loading So throughout the process, we do see the PCM600 try to establish connection to the ID under upgrade, and this is quite common through the process as the warning message stated to the user. So now basically the product data is loading on the ID. Once all the product data basic configuration is loaded, we could see the ID online. So this process usually takes few minutes. So now the ID is healthy. That you can see means the access point is healthy. Still the configurations are loading. Okay, now we need to trust the communication because there is a new certificate issued by the ID. So let's trust the certificate forever because I need a longer session. I'll be working with the ID. Because the technical key will be new than the previous one, because the PCM600 project that I have open here having a different technical key based on my academy setup, but once the product upgrade is done, the upgrade pushes the pre-configuration, something like default settings and configuration. That's basically include different or a default technical key. That's why the certificate acceptance is required. So now the ID is almost ready, and we're just waiting for the final report. So now we see the upgrade result is okay, and the report file has been inside this particular location. This report need to be shared with this particular email address to Hitachi to be able to have the future communication, especially when there's a new updates, and to be able to get support for the proper product lifecycle maintenance. You can also click the view report and the report is available here. And next, I can close this tool because we are done with the upgrade. Next, before we try to manage the newer ID, it's important to take the project backup because this configuration need to be migrated. So in that case, I wanted to show you one more thing here. I requested some more functions which are not part of the previous version. Like for example, I go to the Ethernet configuration. So here I don't have the redundancy currently in the previous version. The license for that particular request, especially for the redundancy on the rear port, has been enabled in the new order options in the quotation. So I will show you once I complete the license update. I close this tool now, and I also show you one more thing. So here the merging unit configuration in 2.2.6 and below versions need to be managed manually. The configuration to be able to subscribe the sample value, but in the 2.2.7 this is having a new way of doing it, so you can able to subscribe the sample value from the process bus communication from the IC20 configuration tool within Hitachi PCM600 and system configuration tool like IED600 and external tools for completing the data flow engineering between sample value publisher to RAD 670 as a subscriber here. Next, I will be going for taking the project backup. I right click and then export. Sorry, click the project, file menu, manage project. Then I click the project, then export. Yes. Then I export here to the default repository. I go with not encryption, but you can also encrypt the project for adding more security. Okay, so there's another pop-up basically from the RIA 600. Automatically it's trying to establish the connection. I need to accept the certificate. So now you can see a default configuration from the new update package. So let me show you from the front menu, diagnostic, ID status, product identifiers. So here you can see the 2.2.7 and the newer firmware version. Now I will open the project because the project has been exported already successfully. It's also important that you can also take the PCMP project. I just rewrite without encryption, because once you migrate you lose the old configuration that you have as a backup, so it's always safe to take the backup and for project and product type. Next I go for ID migration, migrate configuration. So here we have 2.2.7. So it's very important that you need to also install 2.2.7 from the update manager, the ID package, ID modules. And then it's also asking for exporting the backup to the default repository. This is to be in safe side. And after the export of HPCMI for a specific ID configuration, we are going for the migrate configuration from 2.2.6 2.2.7. So the addresses new functionalities is applicable as per the product data within the ID to the ID module that is already installed on the PC, so that there is a consistency in both configuration tool and the actual ID. That's why the migration is essential. So the migrate configuration is about finish. Okay, let's check the report. So what exactly happened behind the scene, especially when the ID migration happens on the different tools within the PCM600 configuration has been involved, and that you can also see in the table slowly one by one. So it's loading. So the table include different columns. What are the function type, what are the enhancement and changes happened, that you can also save as a report for advanced analysis later. So export this report for review, but of course you can perform a detailed review before you perform the next step. Then I close this. I'm okay with this. Next, I need to, that you can already see 2.12.7, I right click the ID, then I set the technical key, because the technical key on the ID currently different from the PCM600, because this one is default, and I prefer to have this technical key because this is the technical key which I used in my setup and project. The technical key set successfully in the ID. Now I go for license update tool. After the migration, I would like to also show you something. Go to the Ethernet configuration. Because the previous way of doing configuration is a bit different. I can manage this from the SCL file, not in the Ethernet configuration anymore in 2.2.7 supported versions, from the iStore ID configuration to IC configuration to basically. And now you can already see the redundancy menu came, so I can basically make use of PRP already. And next, I also would like to perform the license update tool. Then I already taken the backup, or I can also take the backup before I do that. We go with without encryption. Of course, if you're really interested, you can also go for encryption by adding security to the project. Online update, because I would like to make consistent order option license between IED and the PCM600, because there are some new licenses have been added, especially the redundancy which has been requested on the quotation. And next, I finish the process. This is to synchronize the function block support. The software and hardware license, both PCM600 side and the actual ID. So the hardware function LMB fellow, LMB RFLO, think for locator, it's not available, the current license. That's fine for me. Probably with the new firmware version, that's okay. And then I save the configuration. Then I also would like to check the consistency or validate the configuration. Configuration validation has been performed, and then there is no error message. There are some reasonable warnings, that's fine enough, not a big problem for me at the moment. But of course, it's quite important to look at, especially with the execution order, if it is inconsistent for your configuration. So let me close this one. So I can now proceed with write configuration to the ID. So make sure that you also change the rear port IP address before you write the configuration from the front port. So you can also now see the progress. So by default, the pre-configuration was edition 1, and now the configuration that we have in the PCM is edition 2.1. So all these changes has been applied now, including the hardware write, then security configuration, communication, because the DNP3 also enabled for some testing, and the communication configuration, everything is written. And next, you can go to the Ethernet configuration. And change the airport IP address that we're supposed to do before we perform the command write. But anyway, you can also do it later. So you basically need to change the station bus port because it actually copied the front port IP address same, but you can unlock, type the IP address like 192, for example, in my case 68.10.126. Save it. Then enable the required communication protocol, which has been done as before, or some modification required. Then you are good to go to write the configuration from partial write or command write. So you can also check the configuration before was a little bit different. So now we have a different configuration from the LHMI and any other menu. Make sure that the ID is stable, especially the application, and 6050 goes, and the hardwares are okay, especially the install hardware. Everything should be working well. So let's quickly double check everything is in line. So everything is okay from the hardware side here. You can also right click the ID, go to the ID summary. There's ID summary, here we go. Then you can read the ID summary online, shows certificate. It also gives you a comparison. You can also export an Excel sheet for collecting asset inventory. So the ID name, serial number, model number, protocol edition, and everything. You can also do this for the whole project, voltage level, bay level, so get all the project level details. So that's all in this video. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.